Hi there. So I don't know if this will be a part one and part two kind of thing. Sometimes people tune in really quickly. Um, I'll never forget the one morning I hadn't, or the one time I hadn't really had a. I mean, when I have my daily naps because I'm getting old, I I sometimes don't fall asleep often because it's not as long of a time to be able to. And it's weird when I hit the pillow. It's kind of like I'm just noticing the bottom of that plant being drippy. It's like I don't really feel like I take as long as I used to fall asleep. But yeah, it sometimes for whatever reason does not happen during a nap. But the morning I woke up, or I keep saying morning because I guess I'm thinking I got up out of bed. Um, somehow even sometimes I don't end up spending all day in bed. But um, I was gonna quickly go off, but I it was like a record that I haven't seen in a while, where kind of like when those ladies came to shop, where there was like I think at one point in time, 14 people at the top, and two commented at the same time. And I know that sounds weird to think that that's uncommon, but I don't know. It seems like sometimes kind of relaunching this channel, it's a slow go, and truth is, there's lots on YouTube, and people's attention spans. I don't know. I don't know what it is, and most of them, yeah, didn't stay. The number actually fluctuated. I remember for like the first few minutes, but and the two that were there never did come back. They seemed to enjoy it. Then my connection dropped, and they didn't check back in. but but and I don't know. Maybe I don't know how much I should hold. Um, Power to the thing that the one person said, and he wasn't actually all that old. Said something about standing team more confident. The thing is, I don't. First of all, he's a young one. I mean, it's not that I can't, but and I can't leave, of course. But um, I I don't know. Sometimes physically, I'm not really up to it, and I have been for a long walk already up today. And I also think that I can be. I don't know. Some people might be intimidated by it, to be honest, and especially that Christy. And well, yeah. But we're talking about positive. But um, I I think it can seem just as confident sitting down. Um, I feel like I'm giving a speech, which I used to love those times in school. And actually, that let's ride with that for a moment. Um, I thought I heard his music stopping, and he said he was almost finished, so I opened the door. But now I think I hear it again. I don't mind, but YouTube might. Not like the sun came back. Oh, you're okay. Okay. Oh, you just decided to get it done. Okay. Hey, I'm doing something right now, as you can tell, and yeah, just make sure that he stays behaving, and I'll be right there shortly. Anywho, so well, we're talking about dogs, and well, the two in the other room, I guess. The two in the other room. But did have this idea, and in fact, I might do a part two or part three. I thought I might try it on the other device, but then again, I've done two or three with that recently, and even when the connection does stay, no, it was just that particular video. I don't, and actually, maybe that's why. Although I think my titles are fine, but I seem to remember, although I thought YouTube said that a title was required. Like I say, it was very spur of the moment. I don't think I put one. So maybe that sparked extra curiosity, oh, what's this about? Um, and then I just was saying the right things. But basically, one thing I might do, I'm going to try to remember on YouTube, that was me, I guess, subscribe to this channel. So not long after I do, when it often does show it to me under mine. So, but yeah, basically, And and sometimes I watch them, sometimes I won't. But even just seeing this, hopefully I'll remember that I do want to do part two. And Glenn would like to hear this. He's in the other room. I think it might help me. I mean, I can't show the screen because it's a computer unless I take a picture of it and then show the song. I did that with the video recently, and I tried to download it. I don't know if it worked, but yeah, um, I get real good even if I reuse them. Somehow, I'm really good on all my devices or all the devices I use of having a lot of tabs open, and this could be a method of working through that. I know I tried to do it on the with the phone the other day, and then it was like, "Yep, I still want to keep going," or I just didn't get very far into it. But hopefully there'll be some engagement here. I haven't been rolling that long, but and it is nice. I mean, the other owner of the channel, Glenn, is home. Um, He's made a couple of recent appearances in music. In fact, I might get him to come up here and briefly do something while I have to go to the other room for a moment. But I want to kind of, I mean, and it was a video I was watching, so I was a video that inspired this, and I was looking at the comments, and one of them was actually quite relatable to something we might be doing soon. And I think a story I actually recently told. In one of the videos, I feel like, but I don't remember how it came up. And so I'm going in a few different directions, but to fit the title of this, I mean, when I moved to where I live, I was on a plane and there was a band coming to play a concert, and I had heard of them. I knew one or two of their songs by title, but otherwise, and they had a one-armed drummer like that. Should have, if I'd known more about them, I would have realized it was them. And also, flying first class, I mean, we don't travel a lot, and I think we got it at the same rate because there was issues with the plane we almost had to take with the cooling system or something like that. So we may have gotten it at the same rate, and I don't know. Even though they maybe offer more stuff there, I don't know. I don't know if you can have alcohol on both them on the whole thing or not. But because I don't travel very much, but you probably have to pay. And I still wasn't. I mean, I was maybe a bit richer then, but actually, right now I'm surprising myself. I have a bit of money left from something, and I'm making it last. But I've delegated it. Although I'm going to be getting a payment, well, partial payment, and then the rest of it's possibly going to be getting something soon. So it's like I can keep that money instead of keeping it also for something else that's covered. Anywho, so I could have a really great story, but that's kind of as great as it is about being on a plane with Def Leppard, and then pouring some sugar on me and saying, "Oops, that meant to go in my coffee." Just kidding. But but and I guess that makes sense. Not that, I mean, first of all, they are human, so they sometimes will prefer to keep to themselves. But they're also famous. They probably thought I don't remember exactly how close, but fairly close. I was sitting to them, and they probably thought, well, actually, honestly, I don't remember anybody recognizing them. It's really strange. Either that, or maybe they didn't want to get in trouble on the plane for like being crazy fans. I don't know. I don't know. But so, what are you up to next? Okay, and you might hear that from downstairs, actually. So I thought you were talking about something else, but maybe you said it wasn't that nice. So yeah, you might hear that from downstairs. So when that starts, I'll go in the other room, and hopefully somebody will be working on a comment, because I think in the YouTube world, I think that people can definitely. Where are the scissors? I know I was using them on the. Oh, right. Definitely multitask and work on comments and listen, but it could be harder. I understand that. So, although with the piano, that shouldn't be tricky. I know that who was sitting on in the other part of the mother, we had a dog with us because we moved in here, was a festival coordinator, a music festival coordinator, and I wish we had made that. It's kind of my life. She doesn't necessarily helping me make connections. I mean, yes and no, and for various reasons we're not in a lot of contact now. But if only I would have known. I also could have met Jan Arden. So we can talk famous people, we can talk people in general. Um, but I'm going to wait in case she tunes in. There's somebody I want to mention, and she didn't catch all of the posts. She did catch a lot of them, somehow she missed them. But this is just spur of the moment. And um, there's somebody, some stuff on this desk does make me think of, but honestly, because it's been part of the healing, grieving, spiritual uh, um, journey, so to speak, she's come up actually quite a few times in the video, so I'm not going to mention her. Somebody did just tune in though, and so you're going to hear some piano. It's going to be on a different floor of the house, just downstairs. Hopefully, you'll be able to hear it up here. I don't know how it'll come through. I'd be curious. Other than that, I am going to be leaving the room in a moment, so feel free as you leave as well. Well, then never mind. But I don't want to leave until there's at least that happening, so that at least there's something. People might think, oh, this is just kind of intro music or like music in waiting or whatever, elevator music, whatever. So hopefully it starts soon. I think he decided he was still going to do an error. Maybe he decided, yeah, maybe we'll wait do it together when it looks a little nicer out. Could be doing like that because he does somebody coming who might look at the instruments, but I'm fine if he doesn't. But I almost want to, I mean, kind of knows. I almost want him to eat. I mean, he kind of heard a little bit before he just went downstairs a few moments ago, but I almost would like Glenn to hear kind of, and Sunny, although he doesn't, dogs are smart, but sometimes they aren't. But he wouldn't understand if I gave him praises, sure, but if I gave him a whole bunch of accolades, so to speak, especially with a big fancy word like accolades. Just kidding. Um, 9:32. That was about 40 something minutes ago. Oh. Said she was active until I sent, and then suddenly it says 4 minutes ago. Like, but whatever. But because I mentioned it, I don't know if that means she's going to come. There's someone. In fact, I do feel. It's a weird post to see. I don't remember. Oh, right. It was on the Renaissance thing that was posted, and I believe somebody that she knows, like Kendall, posted it, so we can find it. But unfortunately, as great as it all sounded, it's not. You could think, knowing some things that it might be our type of thing, but it might be in some ways, certainly. But getting to it would be tricky. Okay, you're getting balls before piano. Balls before piano. B B P. But so I don't know if I should say the one thing until she tunes in. And of course, she's got lots of posts. What I want, because in the group that he admins, he approves every single post that he's got some sort of. Okay, that's a nice garden post of ours. Some sort of. Anyway, she's back. Not in the messages yet, but online. But like I made an oops post or whatever, and the guy said he's got a disability, and just but he also makes a lot of posts. I don't know how I just do them. But I'm gonna wait to see if she tuned in. Um, yeah, it's just kind of cool, and the sun's not out like I expected it would be at this time of day, or not much. So our plans have been slightly shifted. It's just after the Christmas, we might also be staying for music stuff because she's musical. So she doesn't boast about having a degree because it sounds like she almost did on the phone. Um, it's boastful, and you don't have to have one in some things like music. I feel you just have to have a lot of background and the willingness, the desire as well. But the and that makes me think of a couple, three. I've had a lot of people that have impacted my life, and this I'm looking forward to comments too. But yeah, like I said, obviously Glenn and Sunny. I'm thinking of Miss Reeb, the musical days in school, even Mr. Hencher a little bit. Miss Myers, although later in life when I tried to reconnect, I don't know if she just was sick of students reaching back out to her or what it is, but yes, she wasn't all that. She didn't seem as warm and friendly as I remembered her, in grade school. One of my teachers has passed away. She was okay. I remember a project that we did, but her specifically, I remember I brought Spirit in a while back and said that she was loud, but playing piano. Okay, I get to the other room, so you're gonna be my elevator music or whatever. But I was thinking Jenny, my first music therapist, but that was another example. She connected with me briefly because I said I was podcasting. Guess she wanted to hear it. Honestly, it wasn't my best one, and I don't know. And I think Glenn was there, but I don't remember really doing all that much music in it. And then she's like, "Okay, glad you're doing well. You know, I wish you all the best. Sayonara." And as a kid, I went, music therapy and lessons kind of for years with her. I hope she sees this and realizes how annoying that was for me. But, or how disappointing. But, still made an impact, and they say people are meant to be in your life for a season or a lifetime or whatever. Or maybe Adriana said that, my cousin. Um, it's nice when you're not going to meet everybody at the same point in your life, them or you, but it's nice when it can last a long, long time. And I'm not elderly, so I can't envision what knowing somebody into senior life would be like. Um, but I know my grandmother's spirit has the only way I've met her. Uh, I don't hear from her often. There was one I posted recently. Forget what it was called. There was a lot of spiritual visits in that one of my loved ones, and she was one of them. Okay, I'm kind of being pulled into the other room. Hopefully, not for very long, and I'll be right back. And I'm gonna think on it. I'm gonna think if there's somebody I want to maybe talk a bit more about. Might be someone who I'm connected with on another platform that might tune in. I kind of like. I mean, I think I kind of have written it to her already, so maybe I don't need to say it's her. There is one thing I'm a little bit worried about, but maybe I don't need to be. I do wish I had brought my socks up here too, though. I don't really feel like going back down and then up, though. So, well, when he's done playing piano, I mean, I'm not super duper hungry, but I did only have half a muffin this morning, so should have finish off that pizza and and watch some stuff, and then yeah. I'm hoping that this is inspiring some ideas as to you know um, definitely a quieter channel though than hers, and she's inspired me to do this. Glenn, I don't even think I watched much of it with him though, but he said that it sounds like something more young person, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. Oh, Sunny's up here. Um, He's done the way he's doing. But she said, it works a lot, and it has been winter. I can't remember how long I've had this idea for, but I don't know. There's always been other distractions or whatever, and it sounded like with buying dream homes person. I don't know why, other than having anxiety, but and sometimes not knowing what to think or whatever, and just kind of being distracted or whatever. But I find it'd be easier to do if I was with somebody because I feel like I need an extra nudge, even if it's something I really want to do. But then the other thing I realized with the type of thing that she does, I mean, it's hard to avoid in life online or off, and I'm not saying don't comment, but I don't want to say I'm sensitive, but I can be. And it's kind of like, I worry that if I did actually do this, well, in my own neighborhood, which is the easiest, especially since it's tough for me to get around kind of, then people might recognize you, and that would either be a good thing or not. Our neighbor at the corner actually proved some smarts. They recently proved some not smarts, and I'm not saying who or where, but we live next to a place that's going to be very busy because it's of the long weekend, and so they have a parking pad which had a lot of mud in it, and then they had the street parking. So it was actually fairly quiet. It looks like they moved the vehicle that's usually the parking pad. I was out walking the dog and just happened to notice, to the street. That way, the parking pad, which nobody else would take, that was behind their property, behind their house, was available for the other vehicle, which I've just started seeing now. But basically, and I don't know which one was texting back then, but they could have come to us and apologized or whatever. But basically, okay, so I've alluded to some kind of, and some people they instantly think of somebody, and like I say, feel free to put it in the comment. If you're struggling though, what inspired this? And like I said, it's and it's very random. She makes it look so easy, but I'm sure she gets a lot of rejection too. And that's just the kind of thing that I don't need in my life. I mean, it's never great, but at different points in life, maybe you definitely need the opposite because to balance. It's not that I'm getting well, I am and I'm not, but it's also a lot of just not much of anything, but not entirely. And that would have been a great segue. But like I said, I did kind of mention it recently, and I'd be curious if I'm on about it and she mentioned me. But I'm just worried that because it sounded like she wanted to take some time, make some time, had all these thoughts, and she wanted to kind of look at them with me. And but based on the little bit she did send, I just kind of said, yeah, I don't know if I really feel this is going to be necessary. I think there's more to it, and it's not that she might not have knowledge in those areas or whatever, but speaking about degrees earlier, though, I just want to quickly say it was a perfect example. So I prefer to say of myself that I'm a general life coach, or that I'm a life coach. However, certain types of things about relationships, it's not that I can't, but it's that I would worry that things happen. I'd worry about things mirroring in my own life, or those kind of things happening. And I know that they do with people, but the more I hear it, the more I'd be anxious about it, probably, even if I don't need to be. But so even but otherwise, so many things I could pretty much, like I said, but be able to coach on. But if I was to narrow it down because of all my experience and struggle in some ways in getting work, I would say employment coaching. And it's interesting. I know somebody fairly recently met, who is a particular kind of coach, but you can kind of tell when you converse with her that she's also just kind of general health, general well-being type of. It's you can gain more ability to be that way. But a lot, that or like music or whatever, a lot of it is natural. Um, yeah, sure, it does take effort sometimes, but a lot of it is natural stuff. I was watching back a video, somebody interviewed me, and I was saying something about how I can't remember exactly what her question was, but my answer was, it's always been music and the spiritual healing stuff. Yes, I have a lot of other interests, but it seems to always get pulled back to those two to kind of narrow. And that's not something that's always easy for me to do, is kind of narrow down. And I don't necessarily think it's entirely necessary. In fact, this lady I was just mentioning, first time I met her, that was kind of one thing that kind of came up. Not wanting to limit yourself, but are you productive if you're dabbling in a bunch of areas? I mean, she has her main job, but then she has this other job, this other thing, and obviously life and this and that. I don't know. I mean, I do and don't see it as much of a point. But it's a good biographical name too, so I might want to. Basically, yeah. Well, I've already said it. She's heard me, she's seen me, she's putting in the effort. Uh, whether I'd say she seems like curious, maybe. It's hard to explain other than that it feels really natural and nice. And I'm trying to be the same back, give the same energy back. I know sometimes maybe I'm a little bit imbalanced or whatever, but hopefully the piano's coming through. That's obviously improvised. I don't think that's on any of your sheet music. That's improvised. And it may sound a little bit messy, but so I'm just gonna go to the other room quickly. Something that keeps kind of getting me to go do. But yeah. And for anybody who sees this and just happen to maybe you're getting a better view of this right now. No, I'm not into hunting. It's just I like to have my arms exposed because I do get warm, but my neck gets chilly sometimes and my shoulders sometimes. So it's the perfect kind of thing. And I don't have another one right now, so this is secondhand. But yeah, that was quick because I'm distracted by wanting to come back here. I was thinking it was the sun coming out a bit more. Not that much. I was expecting it to seem nicer out there. And I do have socks and slippers downstairs. I just don't want to go down and then back up and then, yeah, at the moment. But I might not roll too much longer, but it would be really great if somebody came and put a comment. That'd be lovely to hear their stories. I wonder what he did with the towel. Wasn't it used to be on here? I mean, I'm sure he didn't get rid of it, but it's a really nice towel, and it's from my childhood. I'm surprised it's been kind of, well, anywho. Since they're floating around, but we do sometimes have things for a long time. I'm going to take this off for right now, though, because I wanted to cover my feet for a little bit. I did have an idea I would do, though, and then if anybody tunes in while I'm doing it, great. Otherwise, I don't know if I'll make it through the whole alphabet, but I will kind of wrap it up at that point. Now it's a bit more mellow down there. But sometimes it's like a little game that I sometimes do in my head, or sometimes I write it, where it's like I go through the alphabet, and sometimes I'm trying to kind of go into a lucid dream kind of state or something like that. But where I, a dream analyzer is nothing, not nightmares, but dreams, where I kind of, and I just want to check quickly though too, just to see, because I saw the dog come up here and he's still on. If somebody's really enjoyed being in the tree. Yeah, okay, cool. So, yeah, he could be cleaning when I'm not down there, but then, I'd notice and we get sprites. And but maybe I'll do half the alphabet. What would that be? M or N? Ovis. Can be found sitting all alone. I'm Elvis singing heaven up above with piano below. Please telephone or I'll be cruel. 31 Mark never been able to be in the president. The outfit can't do the job. Yeah, that's true. Take me back for things that I'm out to see. Please, please forgive me. The future looks bright ahead. Don't be cruel. She's almost one, actually. Marie, both of them. Michelle. The other, about two Michelles. But it's a common name, but I don't hear that. I have one from a group I used to go to. Too far, she doesn't do it anymore, and I have not been able. She had her own practice. I've not been able to reach her. She's going to be on the podcast. I don't know what happened. Her mother was aging and ill. I tried to reach out a couple times, somewhat recently. Well, one was when I was still going to that other food bank. She was very unique. She had a kind of a unique kind of personality. I mean, so you can say that about a lot of us, but some seem a bit more generic. I don't know. But it's okay. I've done M. Now I'm going to work my way backwards, but I'm not going to actually go backwards because I don't think my head can do that, or at least not my energy level at the moment, even if it seems like I have a lot of it. So, yeah, I'll sometimes do like person or person, place, and thing. And sometimes it's more kind of freestyle, and other times it's kind of like, but actually connected to like people that I'm. Sometimes I'm actually trying to figure things out, and sometimes I'm just doing it. It's kind of like, oh, is there somebody that starts with this letter that's on my mind that I want to think about or whatever. So, well, it's interesting. I have this phone here, and the screen has still stayed on. I feel mixed, unfortunately, but also I don't think it can be ripped without from 2 for days. But and the very top one is an A, then an E, but not someone I know super well. A, but it's a certain voice actually, and I do the other person. Well, considering how they're connected, doesn't know very well either. For some reason, maybe because I met him a few times spiritually now, and it's something that a place in people actually both, but not both A's, that had been on my mind recently. I might have to get my socks if this doesn't make my feet much warmer. It was so annoying to have such cold feet the other day, but I put socks and slippers on there. I bought them actually kind of in haste, and I thought they were shoes. And now that they're perfect running around the house, they're hard to go up and down stairs in, but I'd actually could do this with Glenn, but I know that he's downstairs. Well, that might be interesting. However, in doing this, if it might be pretty easy, as I'm noticing myself, to actually, this is the way to say it, to think about personal connections that you actually have or have had in life. And we all experience both. And the have had can be various reasons. But I guess it's a bit more familiar, whatever. But and that that could kind of go either way. But I'm curious. I'm curious to maybe do that. I don't know if my sippers will be warm enough. I'll let him do one more, and we'll see how I'm doing with this, and then. But yeah, no, I in my mind, kind of back and forth, wanting to do both of those because I'm a very both in the middle kind of person. Um, if I can't think of somebody, here's what I'll do. If I can't think of somebody, boom, fast, and it doesn't have to be a super in-depth reason, as well as to why I'm thinking about somebody, then I'll challenge myself to is it well the place using the person place, especially those two, maybe thing I don't know might help, and that might be a bit more randomized because when you're out and about at places, you're around random people, right? And hopefully, this won't be awkward if I do bring him into it. But he's home. I would like my socks up here, and this could be something fun to do together. So, and then we'll go downstairs and do other stuff. But it's looking like we're not going to get our bikes brought in. I can do it as something to do during the week, not a problem. As long as I can ride it, I mean, it's no different. Different. It's not like we have a vehicle just because he's home. You still have to experience that one bad customer service place, a person who's working through the same thing. But okay, and yeah, I think that this could be done many times. One, people you actually know. Two, people you don't but remember, which is kind of what was the initial inspiration. Three, based on the devices or things in the room that make me think of people. Four, I've also thought about writing a song and books about some people too, but I want to focus on the positive, but you can also think about people that have negatively impact you, because that can be very healing to kind of get that out of the system too, right? Although if I did that, I would want to try and balance it with positive. I don't know what he's going to bring up. I do have a guess, and let's see if I'm right. And this is not necessarily because I don't actually have that ability. Some do, some don't. But I have a feeling it could be about a lady who was doing some sort of drugs and was having a thing that she was going through downtown. And rather than, being uneasy to, being uncomfortable approaching her, he did. And this was, neither of us go downtown very much, but it's not super close and we don't need to, and it can be a little iffy. But, so the first one that comes to mind, I think of two Arlenes actually. And the other ones are, again, kind of unique personality. I mean, we all have our personalities, but some just stand out a bit more as more unique. But honestly, I don't feel like she's necessarily impacted the same way. Me. Other one, though, I talked with recently, and even though, she was just taking a brief break and she's very busy working long hours and is self-employed, running a food place that just opened, as we come out of winter. I guess the thing aside from the fact that I still mattered to her, and uh, I wasn't super duper close with her, even though we were from the same small town. I knew her from there. I think, well, her son went to the same high school as me, and I think, my mother and my father kind of did some volunteering with her at some point, so I knew her a little bit from that, but not much. And this will sound maybe funny, I don't know, but it was her smile. And part of it being, as Virgos, part of it being, even though she had a few staff, it was kind of a walk up. They also would come to your car. I don't know if they still do that, but I know that sounds old school, but I actually think they might. I don't live in the area anymore, or you could walk up to the counter and order. And I just remember, even though I remember seeing a video where she was making fruit recently, and it's like back and forth to the machines many times. Anytime I was ever there, my mind kind of recognized us maybe, but she recognized a lot of people. It was a small town, and even though travelers sometimes came, and that it kind of like never seemed never seemed distant, never seemed uh, unwelcoming. And it is, you got to put on a happy face when you run a business like that, but yeah, you're still human. And after I had the best with it, they did definitely close for a little while. And when they first opened, it may have, but I didn't live there at that time. But yeah, at least do a couple more because I'm kind of going slow here. As far as A, my kind of already said airplane. That's airplane, airport. And again, different levels of impact. Different levels of impact. I remember once I overheard somebody on a phone while we were waiting to board our plane, and he was going to be in a movie that featured Diane Keaton, I believe is her name. I think it was called The Jungle. Uh, but and I what I do remember, because I have interest in entertainment media and being involved in it even. And this was when I was going to Australia, perhaps, or it may have been the BC part, but I do remember, like I say, he was on his phone the whole time, and I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool to be sitting, in conversational distance from each other on the plane? We weren't, unfortunately. I don't remember if I tried to scout him down. I don't think I did. I mean, he kind of had tall blonde hair, but yeah. I haven't heard the piano. I don't know if he's just doing kind of something else he sometimes does in between. But I'm going to bring Glenn up here in a moment, I think, and have him bring my socks as well. And I think it's third. And the viewer goes, it's like, I'm not staying for him. You've only seen him in here. I know it's kind of, but we share it. But you've only seen him a couple times. Oh, either somebody came back or somebody just came in. So you can see the title. I'm thinking of some as well. But do you feel, I'm going to think silently, and I might have to. Even though I can verbalize my thoughts, I might need to stop for a moment and think. But the person went. That would have been perfect for you to be able to put a comment in that time based on the title. But let me think. My mind is also wanting to do celebrities or famous people. I mean, obviously that I haven't met, and I've met some that have somewhat closely been either related or worked with to some capacity. And that's not too far into the alphabet. That's just a C name. But no, like just also like kind of what we know of them as public figures and if any have impacted me. And I'm sure there has, but I can't think of any at the moment. This would be really, and then of course, if this gets comments, then, it can be a little bit of a mix because of that. Kind of be a bit of all the above. I'm going to restart though, because this isn't that long and nobody's watching, so